Swamiji also wrote these words. The Bible refers to the sound of Om and calls Om the Word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things were made by Him. In Him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shone in the darkness, but the darkness has not understood it. Human vision, Swamiji writes, beholds individuality and separation everywhere. Divine vision beholds the oneness of cosmic vibration, of which all things are manifestations. Cosmic sound, the Word of God, and cosmic light. These vibrations are eternal. The world as revealed to us by our senses is illusory. Yogananda ji relates an early experience he received of the divine. He said, sitting on my bed one morning, I fell into a reverie. What is the darkness behind closed eyes? This probing thought came powerfully into my mind. An immense flash of light at once manifested to my inward gaze. Divine shapes of saints sitting in meditation in mountain caves formed like miniature cinema pictures on the large screen of radiance within my forehead. Who are you? I spoke aloud. We are the Himalayan yogis. The celestial response is difficult to describe. My heart was thrilled. I long to go to the Himalayas and become like you. The vision vanished, but the silvery beams expanded in ever-widening circles to infinity. What is this wondrous glow? I am Ishwara. I am light. The voice was as murmuring clouds. I want to be one with thee. Out of the slow dwindling of my divine ecstasy, I salvaged a permanent legacy of inspiration to seek God. Wise we are if we meditate on that experience of Yogananda's and salvage from it even a breath of his inspiration. For quite simply, there is nothing else. As the Bhagavad Gita says, I make and unmake the universe. Apart from me, nothing exists. All things, like the beads of a necklace, are strung together on the thread of my consciousness and are sustained by me. And Krishna goes on to say, I am the light of the moon and the sun. I am Om in the Vedas. I am the silent roar of cosmic sound in the ether. I am the manhood in man. Know me to be the seed of all creatures. This divine consciousness is the life and the seed and the essence of all of manifestation. And Krishna is telling us here that we can choose to identify with all of the differences and the individual beads of the necklace, or we can choose to identify with that eternal thread which unites all the beads of the necklace, which unite all things and gives meaning to life. And this thread of Krishna consciousness and the vibration of sound and light, both of these concepts come together. I was reading the Voyager spacecraft has gone out far beyond our solar system, and has sent back sound that it heard in deep space. And that sound it describes as a slightly varying, faint, low hum caused by vibration. Surely a manifestation of this silent roar of cosmic vibration that Krishna talks about. And we know that the vibration of Om moved out from the ever still consciousness, unmoving consciousness of God, moved out to manifest as creation. And that we follow that same vibration of Om in meditation. We follow it back to take us to oneness with that God beyond manifestation. And vibration is not just any movement, but if you've seen a tuning fork, the two tines vibrate very quickly, and they vibrate left and right, but past a center, a calm, still center, that they vibrate left and right. And likewise, in the ocean, the waves, they rise and they fall, sometimes very high. But the level of the water never changes. The mean level of the ocean is right in the center of that up and down vibration. It's the calm, still center. And if you've ever been far out in the ocean where you don't see land and you just see waves in every direction, and it seems they're always in constant motion. And yet if you go just underneath the surface of the waves, the water itself is very calm and very still. And another example is a cyclone, which is a whirling of dangerously fast winds. But in that center of the cyclone, it's very still. Often there's a blue sky above if you happen to be in the center of this cyclone. And all of this movement is around that still, calm center. And in the same way, God's reality is this calm, unmoving peace at the center of the vibration of creation. And in the same way, our true reality is our calm inner center. Yoganandaji said, learn to stand unshaken amidst the crash, the crash of breaking worlds. And the more we meditate, the more we do that naturally. Maybe you've had a similar experience to me, but I remember several times in my life I was feeling grief, I was feeling great emotional upheaval, but underneath all of that, I felt a certain sense of peace, even joy. Somehow, I didn't know how, but I knew that I was going to be okay, that I could still feel the presence of the Guru. I remember There was a popular song years ago, and some of the words were, "Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose." And it was rather a depressing song, but there's a positive aspect to this too, that when things are taken away from us, we have the opportunity to feel that these are the things that are no longer holding us down. And if we can surrender to God in that moment, we can feel a certain sense of freedom. In high school, we studied a play, Riders to the Sea, and it was very moving, about a mother in Ireland, and she had 5 sons who were all fishermen. And one by one, the sons would go out fishing, and there would be a storm, and he would be drowned. And finally, there's only one son left, and he prepares to go out to fish. And she pleads with him not to go, to stay with her, that he is the only one left. And he just says, it's my duty. I fish, this is what I do. I have to do it. And he goes out, and he dies. And yet she accepts his words, and she surrenders to the situation. And when she hears the news, it's like she's surprised that she still feels a sense of inner peace. It's like she had surrendered everything, and she had lost every attachment, everything that she felt gave her purpose in life. And yet, with all of that gone, she still felt a divine presence, and she was free. And so with all of us, we want, without having the need for tragedy to strike, we want to voluntarily cultivate this inner peace, this sense of freedom, so that it's always our companion, and not to make a decision in life that takes away that peace of mind from us. Thank you.
Every time a satsang opportunity is given, I thank Master, because just few days before he will give the content for the satsang also. So we regularly do Autobiography of Yogi book reading, and last Thursday and coming Thursday we read and we will be reading the last 3 pages of The Law of Miracles from Autobiography of Yogi. And as I read it, I just felt, well, this story exactly suits the satsang topic, so let me read it to everybody. And I'm reading because, of course, Master's vibration is in this book, and reading it, you will receive it 100%. But before that, I would also like to share something about what Keshava said, which is God manifested, and when the manifestation happened, he manifested as Om, and then the creation came to existence. And the same thing, we follow the path in the reverse order. We tune into Om so that we can become one with God, the Absolute. In Bible, God, the Absolute Unmanifested Spirit, he is mentioned as God the Father. And when the creation happened, he is called the Unmanifested Spirit. When it began the manifestation, he was described as God the Son. And finally, when he vibrated, he was called the Holy Ghost. Ghost in the sense, something which exists but cannot be perceived through our five senses, not the negative way, as not to confuse it with demon or any other entities. So ghost is something the ancient, English, then when the Bible was written, ghost is something too subtle which is present but beyond the grasp of our five senses. So Om is present everywhere, but behind, it's hidden behind the veil of Maya. And it's also mentioned in the Hindu scriptures as there was only absolute spirit. It was known as Tat, and then Tat became Sat, and Sat then vibrated to create Om. Om, Amin, you can find this in all the scriptures. At the same time, the mantras, when we recite the mantra, we recite it in the reverse order. Om Tat Sat. We do that because we want to tune into Om so that we can tune into Sat and then reach Tat. We also chant Hari Om Tat Sat. We pray to Krishna, we pray to Vishnu to help us to tune into Om. So this Om vibration, as Paramhansa Yogananda says, is a vibration that is always there in the universe, which will take us towards God. All you need to do is a bus. It's like a bus going to a certain destination. All you need to do is board the bus. So we just need to tune into Om, and it will take us, it will guide us towards the absolute unmanifest spirit. And in this chapter, the law of miracles, time of the World War, and he walked into a room where there is a newsreel which is being projected. One day, I entered a motion picture house to view a newsreel of the European battlefields. World War I was still being waged in the West. The newsreel recorded the carnage with such realism that I left the theatre with a troubled heart. Lord, I prayed, why do you permit such suffering? To my intense surprise, an instant answer came in the form of a vision of the actual European battlefields. The horror of the struggle, filled with the dead and dying, far surpassed in ferocity any representation of the newsreel. Look intently, a gentle voice spoke to my inner consciousness. You will see that these scenes now being enacted in France are nothing but a play of light and shade. They are the cosmic motion picture, as real and as unreal as the theatre newsreel you have just seen, a play within a play. My heart was still not comforted. The divine voice went on. Creation is light and shadow, both. Else no picture is possible. The good and evil of Maya must ever alternate in supremacy. If joy were ceaseless here in this world, would man ever seek another? Without suffering, he scarcely cares to recall that he has forsaken his eternal home. Pain is a prod to remembrance. The way of escape is through wisdom. The tragedy of death is unreal. For those who shudder at it are like an ignorant actor who dies of fright on the stage, when nothing more is fired at him than a blank cartridge. My sons are the children of light. They will not sleep forever in delusion. Pain is a prod to remembrance. As Keshava mentioned, why wait for the pain to happen so that we can turn towards the light? Why wait until something bad happens and then take God's name in vain? We can tune into Him now, and all we need is to shift our attention or shift our focus towards the light beams. As Paramhansa Yogananda said to a group of disciples he took to the movie theater, everybody was engrossed in the movie, watching the movie, the light and shadow playing on the screen, and he gently tapped at the shoulder of the disciple sitting in front, probably it was Swami Kriyananda, and said, "Look at the light." And when you look at the light, there are no pictures there, just play of light and shade. We are given an option. We can either be entangled in the motion picture or turn towards the light and be one with it. All we have to do is to shift our focus. And how can we do that? Well, we have all the yogic techniques given by Paramhansa Yogananda, but I would like to read what he has given in the same chapter, The Law of Miracles. Through the divine eye in the forehead, which is east, as mentioned in the Bible, the yogi sails his consciousness into omnipresence. Hearing the word or Om, divine sound of many waters or vibrations, which is the sole reality of creation. And he says that you can concentrate on the spiritual eye, and a yogi sails his consciousness, visualizing light, perceiving light at the point between the eyebrows, and he can merge and become one with the light and thereby escape the duality. And there are more stories in the same chapter. I will want you to read that. When Paramhansa Yogananda's consciousness was moved to a captain of a ship during the World War, and after he finished writing the chapter, he once again experienced a play of light and shade where he looked at his own body as just as gross light. Thank you.